Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Clearly Podcast, episode 19, Community, with Jenna Coffey, Glenn Accardo, Shaylin Chudasama, Tom Goff, and myself, Andy Clark. We have not one, but two special guests for today's show. I'm going to ask these two individuals to introduce themselves. So first, I'm going to start off with Jenna Coffey. Jenna, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, guys, for having me. My name is Jenna Coffey. I am a community person in general. I've been a big fan of community and building community with organizations worldwide for the last, well, over a decade now, really, since it was really a big thing. I've seen it grow. And so I'm really excited to, be a part of this discussion with you guys and just talk about, you know, what does it look like now? How can people get engaged? What does it mean to be a part of a community? It's all these kind of big ambiguous questions for some people who have never done it. And I think with the way the world is now, there's a lot more considering it that maybe didn't before.
And with our other special guest, who is Glenn Accardo. Glenn, if I could hand over to you to introduce yourself, please.
I'm Glenn Accardo. My job title is I am the test automation lead for Schlumberger's Houston Production Technology Center. Um, Basically, I'm the guy who does all the miscellaneous stuff on the team. I kind of combine a lot of other different skills into software testing. I'm also one of the leaders of Houston's Power BI user group, and that's why Andy invited me today. So thanks for the invitation. I love being here.
And Tom, of course, is the lead for the West Midlands Power BI Community User Group.
That's right, and it was actually I think it was Jenna who actually got me getting that set up a couple of years ago now. So yeah, got to thank Jenna for that one.
I'm going to kick off, it's okay, Jenna, with you to really talk about how you see community, the benefits of community, and maybe how community is evolving.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. So the community that, the Power BI community, for example, is so strong, and it's something that it stems from a product and the interest, but really, spans much further than that because people can use it for so many different areas of life, business, work, and pleasure. Um, and I think that's where, that's just one example. The term community and how what it can encompass obviously can change and be different across different industries, um, and products, services, locations. All of these different things can have impact on it, but really at the core, community is the same. It's people coming together around an idea. They're banding together around it, and there's learning and development that goes on there, and engagement.
Power BI is kind of the title of the user group, but really, if you look at the focus of it, it's a whole bunch of people who have stuff to do. And yes, Power BI is kind of part of that, but the real focus in this group is on the members. It's on the community itself. What I've found especially, is, when you're going to these user group meetings and, you're finding a group of people who are in the same industry as you, who have the same problems as you, who may laugh at the same jokes or complain about the same things, you have a much, much stronger connection to these people. One of the things I realized about this community in particular early on was really the value that it brought to me. So it's like, yes, I'm one of the leaders of the group and so forth. I, set up meetings and stuff like that. So I put a lot of effort into it, but I also get a huge amount of value. I would have an assortment of technical problems that, again, they're not really things that translate well to a post in a user group forum, or asking a question of tech support or something like that, but they're very good things to frame a conversation around, say, with a group of 2 or 3 or 4 people, because I'll mention a particular error message or a particular problem, and other people have had it. They know about it. They know workarounds for it. They know solutions. Look, I don't have all the answers in Power BI. I'm by far and away not the expert in it, but I know all of these people, and now I can get answers to these problems.
Yeah, we have though tried to sort of do regular meetings in different industries. And these are sites who are of companies who are in financial services, in engineering, in retail. So, and because people have worked in these different sectors, they come with different slants on every problem. So you might be trying to think about a problem as a very straight, so you might be working for a retailer, you might have a problem trying to report on a particular bit in a very straightforward, here's how we would normally try to report on sales, blah, blah, blah. Now, somebody who has worked in engineering, if you're stuck with something, you ask them a question, they might have a different angle on this entirely that solves your problem in a different way, and you can enrich what you're doing as a result of having those different angles on it. And that's where, because you're all working with the same problem, but across in different places, you get different ways of solving that.
Shaylin, quick question for you. How's Community helped Clearly Cloudy as a business?
Lots of ways, actually. The first thing I was going to say is when people think community, sometimes they think, well, we have to put time in and effort in. There may not be anything in terms of return. I think from a community perspective, there's a lot of return. So I'll give you an example. A few years ago, we attended an event in Ireland, and that whole community spirit around Power BI, there's so many takeaways that we actually adopted them in our delivery. And from a client perspective, they thought, that's just brilliant, because we've been using this technology, never ever seen something like this before, how to deliver like this in this way. So absolutely tangible in terms of the benefits from a client perspective.
We tend to shy away from all of these kinds of sales pitches and stuff like that. We don't find a lot of value in it. I would much rather hear somebody say, this is how I've actually used this product to do something, because even the experts on various things will see, hey, look, this person did something different than I did. This person did something in many cases better than I did. So even the experts get a lot of takeaways from watching non-experts, because again, it gives them another perspective even times.
I was going to ask, actually, for Jenna and Glenn, when have you seen a kind of a momentum pick up with community? Because they may start off quite small in that, but do you get to a point where you think, okay, now this is a community that's quite active?
Yes, certainly, when I started working with the group, I made a concerted effort to do things like always have presenters and always kind of announce what the agenda is, always do some sort of email and answers, to questions and things like that. And we definitely started to see a little bit of an uptick. And then when we got people in, we did a few things, like we had, little business cards printed up that said, hey, look, this is where we are online, a couple little things about our group. It's like, this is where our user group meeting occurs, and this is when it is. And so here, take a few of those and give them to your friends. And when we got people in, we made sure that they weren't just, people sitting in a chair. We had a very, good group of people that would always go out and say hello. It's like, hey, what are you doing with Power BI, and what are you doing? What industry do you work in, and what's your job? And, just get to know them. And even a lot of other personal questions, what part of town are you in? Is this a convenient location? Is this a convenient time? We made people, actually just welcome. And I think that right there made a huge, huge difference.
We hope you enjoyed that conversation. To get in touch, please come on over to clearlycloudy.co.uk for the UK and Europe, and clearlysolutions.net for North America.